is 104.3 The Fans pregame live. Cecil Lammy, Andrew Mason for just a little bit, Mace, because you are live on assignment from Empower Field at Mile High as we wait for the inactives. But the news of the day is Klint Kubiak taking over play calling duties. Honestly, I think it's going to make a big difference. How about you, Mace?
I think, pardon me, I think it'll make a difference. I mean, I'm not sure about the long-term difference. I think it's going to galvanize things short-term. I expect we'll see a more sensible offensive game plan. I expect we'll see more two tight ends. I expect we'll see more stuff under center in this game, things that you and I have been calling for weeks now. But you also have the advantage of this coming against the Raiders defense that is among the league's very worst, that has failed to hold an opponent below 20 points all season this year. The Broncos had their season high in points against the Raiders back in week 4 when they had 23 points. So I expect better for a lot of reasons. The proof is going to be in the pudding long term. There's probably going to be an overreaction to what the Broncos do today in terms of the impact of Klint Kubiak or not, but it can't hurt.
Yeah, it cannot hurt at all to have Klint Kubiak calling the plays for this team. And there was a stat that I guess I had ignored. I don't know why I didn't realize this, Mace, or I ignored it, or I blocked it out of my mind. But I was on with No Sean today from 10 to noon, and No Sean was like, "They haven't had a 100-yard rusher." Oh, maybe that's something they should do. I mean, your mind just goes, maybe Javonte was close, but he had 75. So they haven't had a 100-yard rusher this year. I mean, you wonder why this offense has struggled. They haven't had a 100-yard rusher this year. I think there should be an emphasis. And again, I don't care who it is that runs the ball. Please, for the love of God, Klint Kubiak, even though the numbers piece that you did on denverfan.com shows like he doesn't run the ball that much, but I would hope that he does today.
Well, I mean, he'll run it when it's there. I think part of it also with Minnesota, he had a more electric passing combination there, particularly with Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson. So he was going to play to the strengths of what the Vikings offense was in his time there. Look, I'm not concerned about the 100-yard rusher. What I'd like to see is them get to about 140 yards as a team rushing the ball. And if that comes with Russell Wilson getting 25 yards, Melvin Gordon getting 50, Latavius Murray getting 40, Chase Edmonds getting 30, something like that, that's fine. That's okay. I don't need to see it with a bell cow back. I just want to see production in the aggregate.
Yeah, I want to see it from everybody. Honestly, I'm greedy. I know the run game works. I know it can work. And as you mentioned against the Raiders, whatever they want to do offensively should work. But without Jerry Jeudy, without KJ Hamler, we're waiting on the rest of the inactives. Mace, is there going to be any surprise? Do you anticipate any surprise players today? I know I've gotten a lot of questions about Kendall Hinton's availability. I'm like, well, he's super tough. So unless
according to Mike Kliss, he's going to go.
So okay. Yeah. And that's not surprising.
He's going to go. Looks like Cam Fleming's going to go. Baron Browning's going to go. Graham Glasgow's going to go as well. So you'll see Glasgow starting at center. And so you feel much better about that, obviously, than when you had Luke Wattenberg there last week. So they got as good a news in terms of the questionable players as they could have hoped for going in. Kendall Hinton being out there, wide receiver, is really going to help things out. We know that he's got good cohesion with Russell Wilson. Like we always say, he comes back to the ball. So I think I think there's no excuse to not have a solid day, even though you are down a bunch of starters. This Raiders defense has struggled against great offenses. They've struggled against putrid offenses like Houston's as well. So you should have some opportunities there today.
Yeah, the struggle is real for the Raiders defense, and we'll see what the Broncos offense can do. We got inactives coming in?
We officially got him in. So first I'll give you the ones that are no surprise. That's KJ Hamler, Jerry Jeudy, K'Wan Williams, and Andrew Beck. They were all, of course, ruled out with their injuries. Anthony Harris, safety, he's inactive. Enia Wazarike, he's inactive. And now they've got Jonathan Harris up on the 53-man roster. Can't really see much opportunity for Wazarike barring injury going forward. And then the last inactive, Marlon Mack. Just like last week, Marlon Mack is the odd man out at running back. Usually you only activate 3 running backs. And so those are going to be Latavius Murray, Melvin Gordon, and Chase Edmonds. I'd like to see Marlon Mack play, but there's not a window for him right now as long as the other guys are healthy.
As long as the other guys are healthy and Melvin Gordon hangs on to the rock. Mace, be good, man.
I'll see you.
All right, there we go. Andrew Mason at Mase Denver signing off from not UC Health, Empower Field at Mile High. Get the sponsors right. Get the damn game plan right. How about that, huh? If you are Klint Kubiak, this is your opportunity to get people talking about you as a head coach more than they already would have. I think, of course, with the Kubiak name and with Klint Kubiak's just resume already, he is one of those coaches who people would have in conversations about like future head coach, bright, young, innovative head coaching mind. Like, yeah, he would be in those same conversations as, let's say, like Kevin O'Connell, stuff like that. So if you look at this situation with what you have with this team, you go, okay, Klint Kubiak, what's he going to do? To me, that's run the ball. To me, that's 2 tight end set. And what he's going to do is run this offense true to design, but have the echoes that were missing. There were several things missing, so much missing with Nathaniel Hackett this year, and none of it's really been good or awesome, because we all know the Shanahan system, we know the Kubiak system, and what they're running is not that. And so I know people would say, oh, that's Russell Wilson telling him. It's not Russell Wilson. It's Hackett not knowing what he's doing. Okay. They don't have a good head coach. And this is an act I understand. And Mase brought him up, and I'll bring him up. And Mike's a friend, so I'm not speaking out of turn here. But Mike Kliss in his article is like, oh, what a bold move, showing that Nathaniel Hackett doesn't have the ego. Nathaniel Hackett is desperate. I'm not going to sit here and blow bubbles at Nathaniel Hackett because you gave up play calling. Hey, Hackett, you should have done it a long time ago, at least a month ago. Right? So I understand when things are written, and I'm not picking on Mike, this is for anybody, written or said, like, oh, wow, Nathaniel Hackett, he gave up play calling. Because he pretty much had to. Okay? This offense is disgusting. It's embarrassing. It's pathetic. Whatever adjective you want about this Broncos offense, it ain't good. I'll tell you that. I get fired up, and then the hick in me starts coming out like, that ain't nothing we want to see. Like, yeah, it's terrible. This offense is god-awful and laughable. So I'm not going to praise Nathaniel Hackett for giving up play calling. I'm glad he did it. I'm glad he doesn't have the ego that would prevent him from doing that. But here's what ego gets. It's going to get you fired. So he gave it up to Klint Kubiak in an effort to save his job. Period. That's it. I mean, that's as obvious can be. And I know that others will say, like, no, he's totally safe. Like, no, he's not safe. He's not safe at all. I don't even feel he's safe within this season. I don't even feel he's safe within this week, this day. If they lose to the Las Vegas Raiders, Nathaniel Hackett could get fired. So am I glad that he changed to Klint Kubiak as a play caller? Yes. Am I going to fall all over myself saying, what a great guy because he gave up their part of the... No. And then what the hell does Justin Otten do? Like, seriously, I know it's been kind of a running joke with everybody. Like, what's Justin Otten do? We have no idea what he does. Like, your offense coordinator is not your play caller. Your quarterback's coach is, because he has experience and your offense coordinator doesn't. Why is he your offense coordinator? What? Like, it's too much of this buddy system going on. And I know Ajaire Evero was his buddy from college, so that's a good thing that they were friends. But Ajaire Evero has a resume that includes coaching on both sides of the ball. Ajaire Evero is in the head coaching conversation. Whether Nathaniel Hackett gave him an opportunity as a DC or not, Evero is on that track. We already know that. So I'm not going to say, like, wow, coming from the Hackett staff is Ajaire Evero. Ajaire Evero is going to replace Nathaniel Hackett if Nathaniel Hackett does not get things corrected. And today is the day. Today is the day it turns around or it doesn't for Nathaniel Hackett. Today is the day where people start talking about maybe Hackett with someone else calling the plays can be the head coach of this team. Everybody loves him. He's a nice guy. I don't care. I don't care if he's a nice guy. Now, it's better than being a bad guy. It's better than being Josh McDaniels on the other side, right? Because Josh McDaniels is not real friendly. Let's say that, unless you're Sandy. He loves Sandy. But, like, seriously, do I want to be Josh McDaniels? Do I want the head coach to be Josh McDaniels? No. But if he's a nice guy, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're not winning. You know, I know people are pulling for Nathaniel Hackett. I know players that want Hackett to get a second year. That's fine. And I get it. You're in the building, you're playing for the guy. You want to see your guy get another opportunity. Things aren't going well this year, injuries, whatever you want to say. But the injuries are excuses. The injuries are what I see dumb fans, and not all fans are dumb, and certainly not in Broncos country. But there are some fans out there that consider themselves to be the voice of Broncos country. And I don't believe that to be the case, because Broncos country is much brighter than these fans. But I've seen some fans promoting on social network and like, well, it's all these injuries and and everything's fine. Everything's not fine. Okay. So I know you can be a fan and Broncos for life, DB of 4L. Like, yes, okay, fine. Yeah, Broncos for life, Broncos till I die. Like, yeah, fantastic. Nathaniel Hackett is a big problem. He's a big problem. And now today we get to see what it's like with Klint Kubiak, and that is exciting. Now, I'm going to say they're not going to score 14 points. They'll score more than that. And that's not a bold statement or a bold prediction, because their average right now is less than 15 points. I mean, it's worse than Pat Shurmur. We thought Pat Shurmur was bad. Like, this is worse than Pat Shurmur. It will be better today. Part of Klint Kubiak and what he's capable of doing, but also part of it's the Raiders. The Raiders suck. Their defense stinks. And as Mase said before he had to run, there's not been a game where they haven't given up 20 points. Like, they're going to give up 20 points. So Broncos 20 is the line, the Mendoza line or whatever. Like, 20 is the line. So how much more is it than that? Hell, you got 23 with Hackett calling the plays. So honestly, I kind of want to push the line up and say 23 is the line. Can you improve off of a 23-point performance from week 4? Can you do that if you're Klint Kubiak? I think you can. But how much? Is it 27 points? Is it 24 points? Is it 28 points? Is it 35 points? These are the questions that need to be answered when we look at the Denver Broncos going up against the Las Vegas Raiders. And now it's time for Klint Kubiak to call the plays that work in the order that makes them work better. This is where I talk about the echoes, right? There's echoes to this Broncos offense that don't exist with Nathaniel Hackett. But as everyone who knows the Shanahan system, you know that they run this play that looks like this other play, but they run it 3-4 times and then break out the other one that looks exactly the same with one difference. That's usually for a big play. Hook route, hook route, hook route, hook and go, touchdown. That's what you do. It's a small example, but it's an example that we all know and recognize and realize how much it works for the Denver Broncos and how much it works in the Shanahan system and the Shanahan offense. So have the echoes. Play design is going to be the same. The plays are going to be the same. The players are going to be the same. But the difference is the order in which you call plays, how you set things up. We all remember the famous 15 Shanahan plays. You're going to script those first 15 and you're going to run them in order, regardless of how the game goes, because what you're doing is those first 15 are setting up the next 50. Those first 15 are setting up the rest of the game. So with those first 15, and I'm speaking to Broncos country, not to the dumb fans who pretend like they know things and like, oh, there's nothing wrong and that's all the injuries. Injuries are an excuse. Okay. It's like blaming the officials. Are the officials going to suck sometimes? Yeah. But good teams overcome bad officials. Good teams overcome a rash of injuries, even if it's the most injuries ever in the history of ever. Like, yeah, we already know if they'd scored 18 points a game, they'd be 8-1. Okay. Klint Kubiak's going to get him more than 18. He's going to get him more than 20. I'd say he's getting more than 23 today. Now, I don't want to be crazy or go over that. As Fred says here on YouTube, Raiders 23-12, and Peyton will make excuses for Haddock and let him come back next season. If he does that, he's signing his own pink slip. I don't want to be dramatic. But if George Payton says, Hackett, you just keep losing and we'll bring you back because you're really nice, Hackett is signing his pink slip. He's attaching himself to Nathaniel Hackett, and I don't think anyone wants to be attached to that guy. You've already attached yourself to Russell Wilson with the contract you paid him, for good or bad or whatever. Russell Wilson's the future. Nathaniel Hackett isn't. So if Peyton does that, then get rid of him too. Unless Hackett can beat the Chiefs or something. Something's got to give. Does it give today? We'll find out. Coming up on a power field, 2:05. Weird kickoff time, but anyway, 2:05 Mountain Time. Make sure to stay tuned for halftime chill. Rachel Vigil and company. Make sure to stay tuned for the post game. DMAC will be yelling about something. So we've got you covered. Of course, listen to the fan all day, every day, and check out denverfan.com. Many thanks to Andrew Mason. Many thanks to Sydney behind the scenes. I'm Cecil Lammy saying thanks for watching, everyone. I got the Broncos winning today, 27-23. And as always, I please ask you to stay frosty.